Plants vs. Zombies. A game that transcends through time, space, and generations and is well loved around the world. A certified cult classic, if you will. It's a game that came out in 2009, and typically a game that came out at this time would have faded into the background for many, as newer and better came out. Well, maybe not better, but certainly newer. For me though, PvZ was my very first video game as a kid, and I've loved it ever since. I mean, what's not to love? The soundtrack is banger. And while the game premise is simple, I mean, how much more self-explanatory can it get than Plants vs. Zombies? It's an easy game. I remember really struggling the first time I played it, but after a few runs, I was breezing through the levels as if I was Blover himself. So fast forward a couple years. Here I am, sitting on my couch, scrolling through YouTube, and I come across Mr. Marinara's video on the PvZ Nuzlocke challenge. I decided to check it out. Hey, why not? I love PvZ, and I love a good Nuzlocke. What's the worst that could happen? Please get rid of him. Please get rid of him. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Please. What the fuck? How? What? Hey, what? So yeah. I, a.lly.cat, someone who's never even done a Pokemon Nuzlocke, decided to give the PvZ Nuzlocke a go, and boy was it brutal. Before we get into part 1 though, there's a couple things I gotta say, so go get your snacks and your drinks and maybe load up Plants vs. Zombies while I ramble for a few. First of all, some of you are probably wondering what a PvZ Nuzlocke is, so allow me a moment to explain. Number 1, if a plant gets eaten, it's dead for the entire game. And yes, this includes lily pads and flower pots. Number 2, insta-kill plants are a one-time use throughout the run. Exception is Gravebuster, cause Mr. Marinara said so. Number 3, the shovel isn't allowed to be used, but there are a few exceptions where this is okay. A good example of this is if I place a pea shooter and it hasn't shot out a pea, I can shovel it. But if it has already shot out a pea, I'm not allowed to. Number 4, there was a restart rule in place where you got 3 chances to restart a level for the entire run. I don't have the sanity for that. We did try. I tried 8 runs of this challenge with the 3 restart rule, and RNG kept screwing me over every time. So I forewent the restart rule in favor of being able to have as many chances at a level as possible. If you think this is cheating, that's fine. I plan to do another run in the future with a restart rule, so stay tuned if you're interested in that. This challenge is not one that I created, obviously. I saw it first from Mr. Marinara's video series on it, but the creator of the challenge is Pax on YouTube. So if you enjoyed this video, go check out theirs. After you watch this one first though. They'll both be linked down below, so make sure to show their videos some love. And that's pretty much all the info you need to know going into it. Enough talking. It's Nuzlocke time. What should I name this one? Marty McFly. Alright. Level 1-1 plays as normal. Place a pea shooter. As long as you're not being crazy ballsy with your pea shooter placements, you'll get through this level fine. Level 1-2 is more the same, except now we have 3 lanes and sunflower. Pretty much the same as last level, just don't be an idiot and you'll get through the level with ease. We earned Cherry Bomb for completing the level, and I didn't use this until much later in the game. I don't remember when it'll pop back up, but it saves our ass in the future. 1-3 is more the same. 3 lanes, 2 rows of sunflower, and pea shooter spam. The last zombie goes down, and we're presented with Walnut. And it's at this point we've got the core players. Pea shooter, sunflower, and Walnut need to stay alive for as long as possible, considering they're needed even in later levels. Moving on to level 1-4, we finally get access to the full on. It's still a pretty simple level. Just be smart with your management of sun and pea shooter placements. Oh look, shovel. Now we've reached the infamous level 1-5, the first of the minigame levels, and one of my personal favorites, walnut bowling. Another thing I should have mentioned earlier is that the conveyor belt levels don't count towards the Nuzlocke. I'm pretty sure PAX made it so that they did, but after some conversing with chat, we determined conveyor belt levels later on in the game would simply be impossible with Nuzlocke rules. There's a level later in the game where you're given only Chomper, Pumpkin, and Cherry Bomb, so if you lose all 3, you can't do that level period. I was playing originally with them counting for the haters out there, and yes, it was difficult but manageable, at least in early game. So some of them are possible, but it's kind of a toss-up. Do with this information what you will. Level 1-6 is where pole vaulter zombies are introduced, and this was when I first realized my error of wanting to try this Nuzlocke. 1-6 is a 1 flag level, and typically these are some of the easiest levels, but for the Nuzlocke, they get so unnecessarily stressful. With the level being so short, we had to ration sun and pray to RNGesus that we got through the level alright. In a 2 or 3 flag level, you guarantee that you'll have a decent defense set up by at least the second wave. In a 1 flag level, it can be hard to get a defense up and running when your concern is not letting a single plant get eaten. Especially with these stupid damn pole vaulters. I cannot tell you how many times I've lost a run to a pole vaulter coming out of left fucking field and sniping my plants like he's been training with the CIA. Anyways, the beginning of the level is pretty typical. You only have pea shooter, sunflower, walnut, cherry bomb, and potato mine at your disposal currently. I've learned the best strat here is to save your insta-kills and walnut for as long as humanly possible, so I heavily relied on pea shooter and sunflower only for a minute. About halfway through the level is when the first pole vaulter comes, and here's where I start to fall apart. A pole vaulter zombie running at full speed can take 2 pea shooters and jump over the first one before dying, which had my ass clenched a little more than I like to admit. So to be safe, you either need the pole vaulter to lose the pole and in return some speed, or you have enough damage output to eliminate him quickly. The 1 flag levels can make this hard to manage, so it leaves you with a few really tight moments, especially about halfway through the level. This ended up being a common theme in the 1 flag levels, and I found the runs usually ending on them. Sometimes I just didn't have enough time to get a good enough defense set up and not lose any good plants in the process. But persevere we do, and I beat the level, earning Snow Pea, which is the absolute MVP for this challenge. I cannot stress it enough. If you do this challenge and you keep no other plant alive, protect Snow Pea at all costs. Now we're on to 1-7, a 2 flag level with a pretty basic lineup of regular zomboids, coneheads, and pole vaulters. With the addition of Snow Pea to the roster, we mowed those zombies down at a snail's pace. We received Chomper for our valiant efforts, and Chomper is a plant that I severely underutilized in this challenge. For whatever reason, I thought Chomper counted under the insta-kill rule, even though Mr. Marinara uses him in his series. Not really sure what was going through my brain for a few runs, but eventually I realized Chomper was fair game, but yeah, you won't be seeing him for a while. Not really much else to say about this level. If you got past 1-6, you can get past 1-7. Moving on. Level 8 is yet another 1 flag level, minus pole vaulters, add bucketheads. I was pretty confident I could get through the day levels without losing a single plant, and this level was going to be the test of that. It was at this point I started using double sunflowers for nearly every level, realizing I was going to need way more sun than an average game of PvZ. I also started implementing my lawnmowers in my beginning setup strat. Let me get all strategic on you quick. Some of you may already know this, but you can actually stall out the zombies, and therefore the waves, and it yields a couple advantages. Stalling the wave is basically the process of making the already slow zombies slower, or simply not killing them, in order to have more time to plant and or conserve sun. I would place my first 2 sunflowers, defend them with a pea shooter, and then let the next 2 or 3 zombies die by lawnmower as I took the time to get more sun built up. Once a lawnmower was gone in a lane, I would immediately cover it with sunflowers and defense of some kind. I used this strat for nearly the entire game and it worked wonders. The lawnmowers really aren't useful in any other case in the Nuzlocke, since the zombies would have to eat every other plant to get there. With the implementation of this strat in Snow Pea, I was able to get through 1-8 pretty easily. For beating this level, we get Repeater. Alright, Repeater. Good to see you. It is good to see you. Level 1-9 is the final level we have to face for the day levels in the Nuzlocke. Since the only level after this is the conveyor belt level, it makes sense we've got the entire brigade of zombies coming after us this time. In all reality though, I wasn't joking when I said the lawnmower, double sunflower, and Snow Pea strat was OP for this challenge. 1-9 is a 2 flag level, so some of the stress is actually taken off as we place 7 sunflowers before the first conehead even shows up. 2 rows of Snow Pea, a row of Repeater, and my symmetrical lawn gets 5 stars from me. We tear through the last of the wave, and make it to 110, the entire team intact. Now I know we've already discussed how levels like 1-5 and 110 don't count towards the challenge, but I want to show you what I mean when I say some of the early game ones are still possible. Here's a run of me playing 110 abiding, mostly, by the Nuzlocke rules. Just keep in mind that I was doing this for fun. This was after we had decided these levels didn't count, so I was using the shovel and things like that, but I'm pretty sure I didn't get a single plant eaten. After we beat the second wave, we unlock the most sacred plant of any PvZ game, run, or challenge, Puffshroom. And while I could sit here and ramble on and on about how amazing Puffshroom is to make the runtime of the video longer, I won't, but I will in part 2. in all seriousness, that is where the video ends. Hi, jump scare. I know, a little bit of a different format going on, but I just wanted to come here and film the outro and just say that this is like the most monumental project editing wise that I've ever taken on. There's a total of 23 hours of footage, and I know this video is short. I know. The other parts will be longer, I promise. The first part just has, you know, the tutorial levels, the day levels, super easy. Everybody's seen these. It was pretty basic stuff, but I promise that the other parts will be more in depth. We're doing a part per 10 levels basically. So part 1 is the day levels, part 2 is the night levels, etc, etc. I already have all of it filmed and I'm working on editing it in the background, so hopefully it'll be up soon after each other. No promises though, because this did take me a long time. This is my first time doing a voiceover this big of an editing project, anything like that. So please, you know, give me advice. Like, let me know if it sounds okay, let me know if anything's too loud, if it looks like shit and I should just delete my YouTube channel. Just, you know, let me know. I would appreciate it. But if you like this video, well, first of all, you should like and subscribe, but you should also go check out both Mr. Marinara and Pax's YouTube channels. Like I said at the beginning of the video, they'll both be linked down in the description below, so please go check them out, please. I beg. I also just wanted to talk a little bit about the challenge itself. I've played Plants vs. Zombies for a very long time, okay? But it hasn't really been fun since the first time I beat it. It's just been like a mindless task, you know what I mean? This challenge forced me to think about this game completely differently. I had to think of strategies, an actual way to play. I had to think really fucking hard about my decisions and what I was doing, and it revolutionized the way that I think about Plants vs. Zombies and the way that I play it. So if you want a fun way to spice up Plants vs. Zombies, I cannot encourage you enough. Please try this challenge. Even if you don't make it very far, even if you give up after the first attempt, just give it a try. It's very fun. And then of course, as always, the shameless plugs. I do have a Twitch, I have a YouTube channel specifically for my Twitch streams, and then I have a TikTok, Instagram, all of the basic stuff. All of that will be linked down in the description, as well as on my bio if you want to check that out. You don't have to, but I just thought I'd mention it. Oh, I also have a Discord server. Don't forget about that. I also have a Discord server. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys will come back for part 2, and I will work on it as fast as I can. But yeah, bye.